John Chrysostom Sserwadda joined Radio Uganda in 1965 as a program organizer after attaining his bachelor's degree from Makerere University. On the job, he got an opportunity to go to London to be trained by BBC and Voice of America in the United States. Now at 85 years of age, Sserwadda says he has witnessed all the change of governments while working for the government mouthpiece, Radio Uganda. He remembers how during the 1966 Uganda crisis, he nearly lost his life as he tried to make his way to work.
I had to face problems to travel to the newsroom and eventually to the studio because we had the rioters. They were blocking the way. I struggled to go through them because I was going to work for the government. People didn't like at that time.
Sserwadda managed to make it to work safely.
Time came for reading the news, and one of the items was an announcement or pronouncement from the head of state saying, I, Milton Obote, being the Prime Minister of Uganda, am announcing a state of emergency in Buganda from now until further notice. And I also announced curfew in Buganda from 6 p.m. to 6 in the morning.
However, after reading the news that caused anxiety for a number of Ugandans, mostly in Buganda region, Sserwadda had to find his way back home.
By then I had a small motorcycle, brand new. I couldn't ride it because I had no curfew permit. A jeep had been prepared for us. We who worked at night to take us back home. That jeep was armed to the teeth. I never traveled with the people with guns.
But the jeep did not drop this journalist at his doorstep in Namngona because the soldiers also feared to drive through dark places despite the fact that they were armed. So they told him to go back with them to sleep in the Radio Uganda studios, but he declined.
I remember that time my life was at risk, but I happened to be a Catholic, and usually I move with my rosary. I don't know whether this time I forgot it. I just pulled out a rosary from my pocket. I started saying the rosary, praying to Our Lady to protect me. So I did not see even a lizard or a mouse or a rat walking on this road. So I did not see anybody. I did not meet any danger. I reached my home. I knocked. They opened for me. I entered. That was an ordeal. The first thing, difficult thing I think I experienced.
After the crisis, the situation calmed down and he continued doing his work under Milton Obote government. 5 years later, Sserwadda faced another crisis when Idi Amin Dada overthrew Dr. Milton Obote in a military coup in 1971. Sserwadda says on the night of the takeover, he was so tired that he could not hear the bullets, yet he stayed near Makinde Barracks. He drove through the streets of Kampala, but realized there were few people moving around town. Not knowing that the government had been overthrown, he continued driving fast to work to make it in time for the news.
Now reaching what we used to call Obote Avenue, now it is called Parliamentary Avenue, facing the National Theatre, going to Radio Uganda. I saw a group. Was it a platoon? What was it? I don't know what you even call it. About 20, 30 soldiers there, armed to the teeth with these bullets. You go around the waist, around the shoulders. I had never seen that in my life. They stopped me. One of them stopped me. Hands off the steering. Radio Uganda, sir. He did this.
that sign was ordering him to reverse and go away, but he did not realize at the time.
When I put my foot back on the accelerator and I tried to turn it this way, one of the soldiers, what do you call that? Cocked. It was my first time to see a gun being cocked before me. Again, I remembered my rosary. I said, it is the end of my life today. So I said my few prayers. So I turned very slowly, well knowing that a bullet was coming either here or there. I knew I was dead, but I was saying my prayers. So I drove slowly down. I had no bullet. I even imagine perhaps people who die with bullet shots don't feel it, don't you know? So I continued driving until I reached the railway station, and I found my way back.
So Sserwadda was not able to read the news on the day of the Amin takeover. In 1979, Sserwadda went through another trying period when Amin was overthrown. At the time, Sserwadda says Radio Uganda had been seized and Tanzanian journalists had taken charge of the radio. But he still felt he should report for duty.
And they were broadcasting.
The Tanzanians?
The Tanzanians, the newsreaders, the whatever. I had to walk, jumping dead bodies all over the place. Some had started stinking. Others had been stripped naked. But thank heaven they were not completely naked, but with their underwear, dead bodies. So I jumped those dead bodies to go and work. On my arrival at Radio Uganda, of course people did not know me, those who were commanding. Incidentally, there was a person, he's still alive, Mr. Robert Sebunya. He was with the Tanzanians, holding, I think, 2 guns, and a few others. They welcomed me. They said, oh, you have come, you take over your duty. By then I was control of programs.
Thereafter, there were other governments like that of Yusuf Rude, Godfrey Binaisa, which did not last long. So the 1980 elections brought in Obote II. Sserwadda remembers that the Obote II administration was very selective when it came to party politics. Because Sserwadda did not subscribe to UPC, he lost his job. But the good news came in when Obote was overthrown again.
The permanent secretary sent messengers to call me from my home. Luckily enough, I was not chased away from the government quarters. I was staying in Kamocha, Machinje. Where are you? You come and do your work. So I resumed work immediately without my applying.
Despite all the trials, he says he enjoyed broadcasting. The 85-year retired journalist now lives a quiet life in his home in Kazo, in Kampala's Kawempe division. Agnes Nandutu, NTV, Living History.